tuberculinum is about tuberculosis. And tuberculosis is about fire. Fire is a major category in the study of human personality and psychology in all systems of healing. From ancient Ayurvedic medicine to the Chinese four-season theories, four-element theories, Rudolf Steiner anthroposophical healing system talks about fire, the Enneagram, Claudio Naranjo's system of personality analysis, as well as homeopathy. They all talk about the fire personality. Some of the descriptions are Pitta in Ayurveda, choleric in anthroposophy, number 2 on the Enneagram, or the tubercular miasm in homeopathy. So, first, let us look at and explore the nature of fire itself. Constantly moving and changing. Always consuming that which it touches. Consuming that which it touches until what happens? Until it's gone. Until it burns itself out. Okay. What helps the fire? What is it that actually makes a fire stronger? Air. Okay. What kind of air, preferably? Oxygen, but what kind of air? Moving air, right. Which we call wind. And what hurts a fire? What actually damages a fire? Water. Okay. And so how do we, in terms of weather, what kind of weather would hurt a fire? Rain. Damp. Right? Just damp isn't good for a fire. So cold, damp conditions, wetness, rain. So what is the end result of fire in nature? Right. The first result is destruction, and then renewal. Destruction and then renewal. So burnt areas, devastated areas, and then the old dead growth burned down, and many seeds are sprouted, and a new growth begins. Okay, so what happens to a human in a fire? In a fire, a human first has intense activity to get out, then suffocation, and then burn. Okay? Fortunately, they get out. For a human to be on fire is to be described as full of excitement. Full of energy, vitality, to be dynamic. To be all fired up means to be propelled by intense enthusiasm. So this word connotes enthusiasm, vitality, energy. So what are the major keynotes of the remedy tuberculinum? Restlessness. Restlessness is one of the major keynotes. So we see the elements of fire come right into the elements of the remedy. Intense restlessness, movement, constant activity, excitement, desire for change, constant desire for change, hyperactivity, energy. Cleft palate and lopsided skull. And speak of bones that plague you so. At 2 a.m. you moan and groan. Destructive miasmatic type. Everything much worse at night. You drink your booze to see you through and check on everything you do. Washing hands throughout the day to make sure every germ is slayed.
This fear you've got of getting ill becomes a rather ugly pill. Your tendency for lies is strong. There's no connection as a friend. So afraid there's something wrong, you wash your hands and then pretend. But deep inside there's something rotten, something ulcered or forgotten. Poor Syphilinum, your brain and bones are out of tune. A headache gets the best of you, and life has saved the worst for you. Syphilinum is not a remedy that you're going to see very frequently or very commonly, but I'll definitely guarantee you that your mistakes with Syphilinum will be under-prescribing rather than over-prescribing. To my mind, it's actually part of the signature of the remedy how difficult it is to think of it or see it. We'll talk about the whole picture, but probably the two most common times, and maybe this is really just one instance that you'll think of to use the remedy, are instances where you're following somebody chronically and something acute comes up that makes you think of Syphilinum, and then you check and you find some confirmations in the history or some confirmations in the family history that give you confidence to prescribe it for something acute in the midst of managing a chronic case, or you're managing somebody chronically for maybe recurrent acute illness. The Mexican man I was seeing, and actually Mary Beth, my partner, had seen him first, and he had a horrible acute sinusitis with green stuff coming out and night sweats, and she gave him Mercurius, and every time, and she'd done it twice, she'd give it to him and the Mercurius would work, and then the symptoms would come back a day or two later, and he'd go through about 4 cycles every time that he took the Mercurius before it would go away. And so he called me because this was the 3rd time through and his cycle was starting again. And I said, oh, I know, I'm doing this lecture on Syphilinum. I'm not sure otherwise I would have thought of it. And we gave him Syphilinum right when it started to come back, and it was the first time he'd gone through his acute sinusitis without having it relapse and relapse and relapse over the next couple weeks. So it's when an acute remedy that works well, that you would say is in the syphilitic miasm, doesn't hold, doesn't work. So you can really think of it intercurrently or miasmatically. To get the remedy picture, the signature of the remedy, we really needed to start with the disease of syphilis, which is very interesting to look at.